What do you have in common with a giant redwood tree? Well, a lot more than you'd think. Today, we're diving deep into the fundamental building blocks that connect all complex life: tissues. So here's the game plan. We'll kick things off by figuring out what tissues even are. Then we'll check out the two main strategies for life, plants versus animals, and see exactly how they're put together. Okay, let's start with the big question. How in the world do you go from a single, tiny cell to something as complex as a towering tree or, a human being? Where does all that incredible complexity come from?
The secret, it turns out, is teamwork. A tissue is just a group of cells that are all pretty much the same, and they've all banded together to do one very specific job. You can think of them as the specialized building materials for life.
And right here, we see life's great divide. Plants, they're stationary. They're literally rooted to the spot. Animals, on the other hand, are mobile. And this one difference, this single fact, changes everything. It dictates how they grow, how much energy they burn, and the very nature of their tissues. So let's dig into the plant's blueprint first. Since they can't just get up and walk over to a sunny spot, they have to grow towards things like sunlight and water. So how do they manage this non-stop construction project? Their secret weapon is something called meristematic tissue. The easiest way to think about this is as the plant's 24/7 construction crew. These are just zones of cells that are always, constantly dividing, pushing the plant up, down, and out. Now, this isn't just one big mob of workers. No way. This construction crew is organized into 3 highly specialized teams, and each one is responsible for a totally different kind of growth. First, you've got the apical team. These guys work at the absolute ends of the plant, the very top of the stem and the very tips of the roots. Their whole job is to make the plant longer, pushing it higher into the sunlight and deeper into the soil. Next up is the lateral team. They work on the sides, along the stem and roots. Their job isn't about length, it's about width. They make the plant thicker and stronger, adding stability year after year. And finally, the intercalary team. This is a special crew you'll find at the base of leaves and at nodes. Ever wonder how your lawn grows back so incredibly fast after you mow it? You can thank these guys. They're the engine for that rapid regrowth in grasses. So, what happens after the construction crew churns out all these new cells? They can't just keep dividing forever. At some point, they have to specialize, get a job, and become a part of the plant's permanent workforce. And this process has a name. It's called differentiation. It's kind of like the cells are graduating. They take on a permanent shape and size for a very specific role, and when they do that, they lose the ability to divide. They've officially started their career. And this workforce has a few star players. You've got parenchyma cells, which are the food storage specialists. Then there's collenchyma, which provides flexible support so stems can bend without breaking. And then you have sclerenchyma, which is all about pure, rigid strength. Think of the tough husk on a coconut. That's it. And this is just brilliant. It's the plant's internal logistics network. You have the xylem, which is like a one-way superhighway, pulling water and minerals straight up from the roots. And then there's the phloem, which is a two-way street, distributing the sugary food made in the leaves to every other part of the plant. Okay, let's switch blueprints completely and jump over to the animal kingdom. Since animals move, their tissues are built for a totally different lifestyle. So let's start with what covers, protects, and literally holds the animal body together. First on the list is epithelial tissue. This is your body's armor and its internal wallpaper. It's a continuous sheet of tightly packed cells that covers your entire outside, your skin, and also lines all of your internal organs and cavities. It's a critical barrier. So, if epithelial tissue is the covering, what's the internal scaffolding? What connects all the different parts and acts as the transit system for the whole body? Well, that would be connective tissue, and it is the ultimate jack of all trades. It's an incredibly varied group of tissues that includes everything from liquid blood to solid bone to the tough ligaments and tendons that hold your entire skeleton together. Finally, let's get to the tissues that truly define what it means to be an animal: the ability to move with purpose and to react instantly to the world around us. All animal movement is powered by muscular tissue. You've got the voluntary muscles you control, which are attached to your bones. You have the involuntary smooth muscles in your organs, working behind the scenes. And of course, there's the one-of-a-kind cardiac muscle of the heart, beating away for your entire life. But none of this, not the covering, not the connecting, not the contracting, none of it would work without a command center. You have to have a system to coordinate all of this incredible activity.
And that's the job of nervous tissue. It's made of these amazing specialized cells called neurons, and it's basically the body's high-speed internet. It uses lightning-fast electrical impulses to connect the brain to the rest of the body, controlling literally everything you think, feel, and do. So in the end, whether you're looking at the rigid bark of a tree or listening to the beat of a human heart, it all comes down to tissues. They're the living proof that cooperation and specialization are the keys to building the incredible complexity of life.
And that leaves us with a final, crucial thought. If tissues are the building materials that follow life's blueprints, what happens when there's a typo in those blueprints? Understanding how these communities of cells work when they're healthy is the essential first step to understanding what goes wrong during injury and disease.